All right, good evening, everybody. Good evening, good evening. I want to welcome you to the Level Up Podcast. Episode 1, that's right, the very first episode for the Level Up Podcast. I'm your host, Aaron Wilson, and I have with us here this evening Dejoli Quist, Manager of Content Partnerships at Twitter. Dejoli, thanks for stopping by, brother.
No, thank you for having me, man. For sure.
All right. So the episode title is Anti-Social Media. Now, just want to allow Dejoli to have an opportunity to introduce himself and tell you a little bit more information about him as a point of reference, and then from there we can just jump right into things.
Yeah, so my name is Dejoli Quist. I work on the Entertainment Content Partnerships team at Twitter. Our primary job is to develop some of the best entertainment and music content for the platform.
Okay, yeah. Excellent. And as pertains to content partnerships, what would you say that really exists of? Because there's so many words that we hear as it pertains to social media, but we don't necessarily know what they mean.
Yeah, and that's the thing about a lot of these tech roles. Like, these people have these titles, and you're like, what does that really mean? What do you really do? Yeah, so for us, our primary focus is working with the biggest publishers within music and entertainment. So think of Viacom, think of Complex, think of Live Nation, and working with them to develop a clear content strategy for the platform. So, whether it be live streaming directly from the red carpet of the VMAs and the BET Awards, or live streaming a whole concert directly on Twitter. So
I would be audacious enough to say that you're the plug.
Not yet.
Okay. Okay, so what would you say are some of the most memorable moments that you've had thus far during your tenure as an individual who's a part of the team at Twitter?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think there are a couple I can name. I think I was really proud of the team and what we were able to do with the VMAs, right? The VMAs have been around for a while.
That was a fire show.
Yeah, for a while, right? And I think every year, they challenge themselves and they challenge us as partners to, innovate.
Okay.
And last year we launched something called the Stand Cam, which it allowed users on Twitter to tweet and vote for artists that were in the crowd that they wanted to see their fan reaction. So let's say like Cardi B won an award, and you wanted to see what the reaction was from like Meg Thee Stallion right in real time.
Okay.
You were able to vote on the platform, or they would have live look-ins as well. So that was really, really cool. And just a lot of the work we do on a day-to-day basis to me is fulfilling. So
very cool. So, just to go on a tangent very quickly, for anyone who doesn't know, I just wanted to introduce myself a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm your host, Aaron Wilson. Actually a business consultant. I have a consulting firm by the name of Wilson Talent Solutions. In addition to Wilson Talent Solutions, I also do have an array of different ventures and also a portfolio with my business partner, Kelvin PJ Kev Mensa. Shout out to PJ Kev.
Shout out to PJ Kev.
Shout out.
Our boys.
You already know. And so right now, we actually recently dropped a book, How to Get Funding for Your Startup. It's an ebook.
Yeah.
And it's been doing really well. It's received a lot of praises and accolades from venture capitalists and individuals who operate within technology and hypergrowth organizations alike, because it kind of outlines exactly what you need pertaining to the metrics, what metrics are most important, also capital raising initiatives, everything across the board that would be important for someone when it comes to building, growing, and scaling a business. So a little bit of information about me, but enough about me. Let's jump right into it. So this episode is called Anti-Social Media. And what I really wanted to focus on here today, and the reason why I had to identify a SME, and SME, for all of you guys who don't know, SME, that's an acronym for Subject Matter Expert. I wanted to identify a SME like Dejoli to come in and impart some knowledge on us, because this thing called social media, I feel like we use the phrase and it's just a catch-all for anything that's on the internet.
Yeah.
Right? Any kind of platform. And I really wanted us to kind of dive in and understand what exactly is social media.
Yeah.
Right? There are these Gen Z kids. I'm trying to age myself a little bit, but there are these Gen Z folks. This is all they know. We grew up in a different era.
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah, for
we
sure.
grew up when, we had the America Online.
Yeah, the dial-up, and all of that. Back in
Your
the
parents
day,
have to
man.
use the phone. You have to
Somebody's
jump
on the
off.
line. Yeah, it was way back in the day.
You know what I'm saying? So at this point, it's I just think it's imperative that we understand exactly where we are,
Yeah.
where we're going. So social media, it's completely been placed on the forefront, and it's
Yeah.
changed a lot.
It's changed,
So-
for sure.
What would you say as far as how social media changed the way that we communicate as people?
That's a great question. And so when I think of social media, I think of social media as a way to really connect people together or bring people together in a digital form, right? The growth of social media from the time when you set up your first Facebook account or Twitter account, it's been massive, right? As you said earlier, it's on the forefront. I think 20 years ago you could have never commented on or sent a text to Diddy or contacted Diddy in any way, right? I can comment on Diddy's page. He might not see it, or he might, but it's there, right? And he has the ability. It's that connection.
You exist.
Yeah,
You exist now.
Yeah. So like those barriers of entry in a lot of different industries have been minimized because of social media. So social media has opened up a lot of new doors, and it's provided an opportunity for a lot of people in a lot of great ways.
See, so it's interesting that you said that. You said opportunity,
Yeah.
right? And the reason why the whole idea of opportunity is so interesting to me is because due to the advent and prominence of social media, we now have entrepreneurs being born every day.
Yeah.
In addition to that, we now have full-blown relationships being built every day.
Yeah.
Whether friendships, I mean, everybody knows there are certain people who you've never met them before, you've never seen them before, but you know their at name. And you can see,
Yeah,
so,
no, for sure.
So you can see them walking down the street, and you're like, oh, you're at such and such.
Yeah.
And the person's like, yeah. And then
It's funny you said that. Like one of my friends, I was talking to one of my friends the other day, and like she was at a concert and like recognized just somebody who was like, oh, you're at so and so. Oh yeah, you're at this person.
Yeah, exactly.
It just like brings people together, you know. Like,
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So we have friendships being born.
Yeah. Friendships,
right.
for sure.
We have opportunity being given for people to explore that entrepreneurial bug, that entrepreneurial itch that they want to scratch. And then in addition to that, we also have the whole idea of people building real intimate relationships. People meeting, all right, let's think about the whole idea of it goes down in the DM.
It goes down in the DM.
The whole premise is saying, I'm about to meet someone via DM, connect with them, and then build a sustainable relationship, an intimate one.
Yeah.
But it's real.
It's real.
It's real.
It's crazy because, like I said before, like social media has removed that extra barrier of entry, right? Like now you can directly DM somebody. Oh, that person was good. I can DM that person, or this person is doing a great thing in his industry. Let me DM him and figure out how ways we connect. Like LinkedIn has really massively changed the game, right? Like people are now finding their jobs on LinkedIn.
I go crazy on LinkedIn.
Yeah,
I used to be a recruiter.
Yeah, so exactly. So like
that's my bread and butter.
Yeah, but the job of recruiting has been around for years, right?
Correct.
It's been around for years. But LinkedIn came around and social media came around and kind of pushed it forward, right? And provided a new avenue for recruiting, or provided a new avenue for you to get a job, for opportunities, for you to build your personal professional brand. Like I don't think people understand how important it is to build your brand on LinkedIn, right? Like, truly...
Elaborate on that a little bit more, because you see, the thing is, level up. Just to reiterate why we're here. Pay attention.
Yeah.
Level up is supposed to identify. So we're at the intersection of business and lifestyle.
Yeah.
And the goal is to identify ways to disseminate meaningful, career-oriented, and professional content in a digestible fashion. So right now, you have the floor. We need to hear about LinkedIn. Man,
LinkedIn, where do we start?
Brother, lock in.
I think so if you're a young person out there and you're thinking about, getting into the music industry, you're thinking about getting into tech, whatever the industry may be, I would definitely say start with LinkedIn. LinkedIn, I found a job on LinkedIn. LinkedIn, to me, really is an avenue where people will take you serious, right? That's an avenue where you could, let's say an investor comes across your profile or one of your posts. It's a way for you to truly brand yourself and actually interact with the business world and interact with your industry. I've definitely been in situations where I'll meet people out and they'll give me their LinkedIn and we'll connect via LinkedIn messaging and we'll meet up and we'll develop a professional business relationship all based off of LinkedIn, because I know when I'm meeting up with this person, it's through LinkedIn. That means it's a professional relationship, right? We're building that professional bond that could lead to something in the future. So LinkedIn, definitely, I think, when I look at all the social media platforms, I have it up in my top 3, just on that mere fact of building relationships on LinkedIn.
Okay,
sure.
so now, just to kind of dive a little bit deeper and get a better understanding of exactly how that fits into the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
With regard to any other platform, right? I'm pretty sure people are leveraging opportunities on Twitter and via Instagram. So of course, LinkedIn is the designated platform right now, because of course there's always another platform that's going to come along and take all the shine and the thunder. But LinkedIn's the designated platform with regard to connecting in a professional capacity.
1,000%.
Now, when it comes to, the other platforms, how seriously should we take ourselves on those platforms? Being that LinkedIn is supposed to be designated for professionalism, what about the other platforms?
So I'm of the belief that every platform serves its own purpose.
Okay.
Right? We all go to certain platforms for different reasons. At Twitter, what we say is, you come to Twitter to be a part of the conversation, right? If there's something that's being talked about in the country, in your neighborhood, or in your culture, typically the conversation on Twitter first. So you come to Twitter to be a part of that conversation. You're supposed to give your opinion, give your thoughts. That's where you really kind of get your voice out, is on Twitter. Or you want to drive, an initiative forward.
So then I have a question. So now when it comes to Twitter, it's pretty interesting because a lot of people, they voice their opinions, right? But what is the difference at some point between trolling, voicing your opinion, and clout chasing? Because at some point, they all become very gray areas, and you can't really draw such a sharp contrast between the three. Because people who are trolling typically are clout chasing, but at the end of the day, they're voicing their opinion anyway.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like, our goal is to serve the public conversation, right? So, I definitely don't condone clout chasing in any way, but we definitely believe that you have the right to either voice your opinion or say what you want to say, right? Regardless of how it may come off, we definitely believe that everybody has a voice and everybody at least should be heard. Now, how we police that?
Because you have to.
We'll talk about that later, right? But yeah, the goal is to really just serve the public conversation. So that's really kind of like where we look at from our perspective. And then you have other platforms like Instagram and like.
For sure.
And I'll say this: like, I work at Twitter, but I'm not one of those people that hates Instagram or hates Facebook. Instagram has built an amazing platform.
Absolutely.
Facebook has built an amazing platform. Snapchat, TikTok, all these new social media platforms, and I'm definitely happy to just see the social media and the tech industry just move forward.
Correct.
When I think of Instagram, I think of an opportunity for you to kind of show the world, right? It's very much a look at this, right? Like, look at me.
It's
like,
visual.
It's visual.
It's
like,
visual.
Look what I'm doing, right?
Correct.
And that's paved the way for a lot of people, right? There have been people that have been discovered off of Instagram, discovered on TikTok, because it provided that avenue for them to be seen.
Correct.
Right. So going back to your original point, when we look at all the different social media platforms, I think each one serves a different purpose. I think Twitter serves the public conversation. Instagram serves the being seen, the visuals. TikTok is the music, kind of like the funny. You just want to create a music video with your friends. Snapchat is what I would call like real time, quick. Just, hey, I'm in the studio kicking it, bam, just snap that, send it to my friends, just kind of share what you're doing.
For sure.
And then you have LinkedIn, which is that professional kind of, you want to build your career. This is the social media platform to take.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. That makes sense. So you're pretty much categorizing them with regard to what the utility would be behind them. Right?
For sure.
And when you categorize accordingly, the utilization makes it a lot much easier to ensure that you're disseminating the right content to people via each platform.
Exactly.
So, as it pertains to the whole concept of keeping social media, well, not keeping social media, but rather keeping your profiles on social media separate, business versus personal, what's your take on that? Because if there are different uses and the utilization of platforms would be contingent upon exactly what you're trying to convey and what you're exuding as an individual, is it right to keep the two of them separate? Or are you being, and the thing is, I hear it all the time, right? I hear people say, oh, this is fake, this is phony, this isn't authentic, I'm being unapologetically myself. And that's great and good and well, and that's cute, right?
Yeah.
But what is really acceptable, what's expected, and what's going to operate as a hindrance? Because let's be real, if you're a corporate professional and you work at a top-tier law firm or a top-tier financial services institution in a reputable position, should you really be on Instagram publicly popping bottles, acting a fool, millie rocking, woo walking, doing all of that stuff? So what are your thoughts about that? Because we try to act as if we're in a generation where we're not being judged. We are being judged. Let's just stop the bullshit. And I'll say bullshit because it is.
Yeah.
Right?
No, so I think for me, it's a combination of the two, right? I think you definitely need to be your authentic self, for sure, and you don't need to put up a facade or something that's not true.
Okay.
But at the same time, I think where I kind of lean on it is you have to be mindful of your brand.
Okay.
Right? You have to be mindful of that. And you have to know that while you're building a brand, people are going to look you up on LinkedIn, they're going to look you up on Instagram, they're going to look you up on Facebook, they're going to look you up on all the platforms. You have to be mindful of that, and you have to be ready for them to look at your profile, and they're going to judge you off of that, right? So you need to know, okay, the way I curate my Twitter, the way I curate my Instagram, the way I curate my LinkedIn has to tell a story, right? It has to fit that narrative, it has to fit that story. And I'm not saying lie, right? When I say story, I'm not saying make anything up. I'm just saying you need to tell your authentic story, but you need to do it in a tasteful way you need to do it in a tasteful way that puts you in the best position or that represents you in the best way, puts you in the best light.
So that's interesting that you said that, because the operative phrase there is do it in a tasteful way.
Yeah.
Now, you and I both know you have some fly Yeezys on. You're a tasteful brother. You have
taste.
Some people have no taste. So what about people whose discretion is completely skewed and they don't necessarily understand what tasteful means? What would you say to guide them through things like this?
Man, it's hard because a lot of those people sometimes they just don't have somebody to really tell them like, hey man, you're not moving the right way, right? Or like, I don't think you should be going on Instagram Live showing this and showing that, right?
For sure.
If I saw a young brother that was posting on Instagram Live or on Twitter and just saying reckless things, I'd definitely pull him aside. Listen, you got to think about the end goal. Think about the future, right? Don't think about the right now. Yeah, it might be fun. You're at last lap, and you guys are, you're having a good time, and drinks are flying everywhere. It's great, but think about the end goal. Like think about how every post is going to be seen by somebody, and that could be your opportunity. Somebody might just stumble upon your page, and you want to make sure when they do stumble upon your page that they're seeing the content that you want them to see. So like I said before, always be your true self, but don't do, like I said, do it in a tasteful way, right? Make sure that you're representing yourself the way you want to be portrayed out into the workforce or out into the industry as well, right? So I definitely lean on the side of kind of, having that, I won't say filter, but more so, but being more cautious, right?
Be cognizant.
Yeah.
Be aware.
Be aware.
Correct.
And I'll take it a step further. I think, just as a African American male, right, as a black male in America,
correct.
We kind of have to, unfortunately, have that extra sense of awareness.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
And
so with awareness, would you say that there's just as everyone would say, there's levels to this when it comes to awareness as it pertains to the person who needs to be aware? Would you say that African American males specifically, and of course, you know, me being an African American male and being, you know, a victim of police brutality at some point in the past as well.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, would you say that we have to have heightened awareness?
Oh man, 1,000%.
Okay.
1,000%.
So we should approach things a little bit differently than some of our counterparts who are of a different likeness.
Yeah, and yes, for sure. And I think, but it's unfortunate that we have to.
Very unfortunate.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that we have to kind of work a little bit harder. It's the same thing in life. Like we have to work twice as hard, right? We have to get, you know, we have to get the good grades. We have to just put in more effort because unfortunately we still live in a society that judges us or perceives us in one way, right? And for us to fight that narrative, we kind of have to work harder, right? I remember, you know, to your point earlier, you know, how you portray yourself on the platforms. It's more like I remember editing my LinkedIn, right, as I, you know, progressed more in my career, and taking away certain things that just, you know, didn't portray me in the right light. And
what were some of those things?
Man, I mean, just the way I described like my internship. Like I used to intern at Bad Boy Records, and
shout out to Bad Boy.
Yeah,
Records.
shout out to Bad Boy, man. But the way I kind of described it on LinkedIn was kind of like, you know, you could tell like a college kid wrote that, right? So I had to kind of like edit it as I got older, as I progressed in my career. So just being aware of your social media profile, I think is definitely important. But at the same time, you know, being your authentic self. One thing I want to get to people is like, do not front, do not lie, be your true self, but just be aware.
No capping.
Yeah, no capping, no lying. Like people will see through that, right?
Yeah,
so,
especially when they ask you questions and you can't respond. You're asking questions about your experience, and then there's no way that you could actually explain what you've done in a comprehensive fashion. So they're like, okay, obviously you haven't done that.
Yeah.
This is all cap.
You're
making this up to get the interview, but now, sorry, you X'd out.
Yeah, exactly.
Got it. Well, so I'm curious, right? You are operating within content partnerships in entertainment, in media, in sports.
Yeah.
What exactly would you say has happened in the industry with regard to the way that, you know, social media has affected the entertainment industry at large? What has happened? Because I can tell you from my perspective, and that's on the outside looking in. I'm not in the driver's seat, right? I'm just a business professional.
Yeah.
But for someone like you, who's been able to witness this firsthand, and you're actually in a position where you're seeing things happen, and you're a part of the conversation.
Yeah.
Right? What's happened? What has changed?
Yeah, I mean, dude, we can get it. So I think what social media has done, you know, if I want to put it, you know, plainly, social media has created the second screen.
Okay.
Right?
Wait, hold on a second. My apologies, Joe. You said the second screen?
The second screen.
Hey, guys, take note. The second screen.
Social media created the second screen, right? So think of award shows, think of the Grammys, think of the Oscars, right? Typically, you know, back in the day, you had to go to ABC or CBS to watch these events, right? Or you had to go to MTV to watch music videos. You had to go to BET to watch music videos. What social media has done is now created a second screen. Now you don't have to look at linear anymore, right? You can consume all of your content through your phone, through social media, YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter. It's created a second screen, and I think advertisers, brands have caught on to that. I think record labels have caught on to that. Musicians have caught on to that. It's changed the industry completely. And if we look at it from the music standpoint in the entertainment industry, now talent is being discovered on social media.
1,000%. Bieber was the first phenomenon.
Yeah, well, Bieber actually, you know, so Bieber, but let's take it further back.
Okay.
Let's actually give, you know,
Soulja Boy.
Yes.
Soulja
right?
Boy. No.
Yes.
He locked in. Superman. That was the.
So like
that was
people make fun of Soulja, but I get it.
He was a pioneer.
But he was
a pioneer.
legend.
He was a legend.
Because I'll never forget. I was my senior year, junior year in high school when Crank That dropped on YouTube, right? And I saw it. I was like, man, like who is this guy? So Soulja Boy up in the and just went off.
Okay.
Right, the first rapper to actually just natively upload your video to YouTube and then get signed. So at that point, traditionally, you had to fight to meet an A&R, or like you had to go to auditions and all this stuff. Like to get signed in that era.
It was a process.
It was a process, and it was hard.
Correct.
And there's a lot of politics involved. Now, what social media has done is kind of removed that, and it's let the fans decide. Now, well, what labels are doing is they're looking at your views, they're looking at your engagement, they're looking at your impressions. Now they're signing artists based off of what they've already done on social media. So now social media is now actually really the platform, the preferred platform for a lot of artists, because now artists are dropping their, like I think Drake just dropped one of his new tracks on social, right? It's like that's the preferred way to kind of get the word out for a lot of the projects you're working on. So it's changed the music industry completely. So now, like I would say, the labels from a rights standpoint still are kind of like driving that aspect, but when it comes to like new talent, it's breaking on social media, and that was not the case 20.
Correct.
That probably wasn't even the case, I would say, 15 years ago, or maybe even 10 years ago. But it's completely changed how we consume content and
media.
Music and media, and then you have the wave of Spotify came through, right? Like, so before you had to listen to a CD to get the new music, or a tape recorder. But now, I don't know if Spotify really put that in the genre of social media, but now it's, it's on your smartphone. You can just click on it, listen to music. So the industry has completely changed because of digital, because of social media.
There was a swing.
A huge swing.
So when it comes to the swing in the industry, would
Yeah.
you say that you're someone who's fond of the swing, or would you say that you'd prefer the way that things used to be? And
No, I'm all
granted,
for it.
I mean, I'll tell you right now, I'm a late 80s baby,
Yeah.
right? So I grew up, listening to Total. I grew up when I was a youngster, right? Bad Boy was it. Like
Bro.
my favorite rapper as a youngster, straight up and down. Anyone who knows me knows it was Mace, Murder Mace.
Yes.
And prior to the Bad Boy days was Children of the Corn, COC, with
Exactly.
Bloodshed, McGruff, Big L. That was my stuff.
Yeah, Jay has the line, nobody could touch Puff back when Puff had it.
Correct.
No, at that time, dude, Bad Boy was untouchable.
You couldn't move
in New York.
say
You
anything.
couldn't move
say
in. Like
anything.
Puff had a lock on everything.
For real. So
Yeah.
would you say at this point, music is at a better point right now than it was back then due to the advent of social media, because artists now have more power and need less in order to be noticed?
Okay, so I don't want to say. Let me put it like this. I think it's made rap, it's made hip hop bigger.
Okay,
Right?
so now we're on the
It's-
major stage.
Yeah. It's exposed it to a lot more people.
Okay.
Right? Like now, a lot more people are able to consume this content. Right? Because like back in the day, getting the word out was a lot of guerrilla marketing, a lot of like traditional tactics of marketing, like promoting a record. But now, what social media has done, I don't want to say it's made hip hop or made music better, but it's made it more mainstream. It's made it more accessible to the masses.
So now the question is, do you feel that integrated marketing,
Yeah.
where you're involving traditional PR, traditional marketing, traditional outlets, and a traditional multi-channel approach, as well as social media, should really be the focus when you're allocating your marketing dollars?
Great
Or
question.
would you
Great
say
question.
that you should focus strictly on social media? Because, I mean, if you're thinking about it, right? And you're a new artist, you're an artist in the industry, you have a marketing budget of $50,000, and there's someone who's sponsoring it. It could be your parents,
Yeah.
it could be some random person, it could be a good friend, it could be a collective of people. As a collective, $50,000.
Yeah.
Should you split that into an integrated marketing budget where you're allocating it accordingly in these different outlets, or should you allocate $50,000 into social media in order to garner the awareness that you're looking for to get that end result and be able to ultimately, every artist wants to get signed, right? Even though
Yeah.
I don't think they understand what that entails, but that's another
Yeah,
episode.
that's another-
However, every
sure.
artist wants to get signed, but what would you say? Should you take, if you had 50 G's right now, and you
Yeah.
were an unsigned artist, what would you do? Integrated marketing, or would you do digital marketing or social media campaign? What are your thoughts?
So, great question, first of all. If I'm an artist, let's take a step back. Let's say I'm an artist, even if I'm a marketer.
Okay.
I'm putting probably 75% of that budget into social media. I'm running ads on Instagram. I'm running ads on Facebook. I'm running ads on Twitter. I'm running ads on Snap. I'm putting a majority of that budget into social because I know that's where my audience is. YouTube ads, if I have video content, I'm putting that money into that. But the reason why is because
I'm curious.
Your audience is on social. You want to essentially reach your audience, right? If the goal is to get signed, you don't want to target the people that are trying to sign you. You want to target the audience because the people that are trying to sign you are watching your audience. They're watching what your audience is listening to.
Brother, you know what's so funny about that? Is that a lot of people miss that whole thing.
Yeah.
You said the people who are trying to sign you aren't necessarily looking at you. They're looking at your audience and how your audience responds to you.
Yeah.
And a lot of people miss that
Champagne talk.
And I think...
Go ahead.
You heard that, right?
Yeah. Oh,
you know what time it is, right?
What was that? Oh.
It's time for champagne talk.
Oh, man.
Thank you. Our executive producers just blessed us with a nice bottle of Moet, Nectar Imperial. Sorry, I said Nectar Imperial. Moet, Nectar Imperial. So, essentially, Champagne Talk is a part of our segment where we give the illustrious subject matter expert who's here with us an opportunity to discuss some of the exciting things that they're doing. Yeah. So, Jolie, you have the floor. I'd love to hear about some of the exciting things you have coming up, what's on the horizon, what you're doing.
Yeah. Please
bless us with some of your thoughts, brother.
For sure. So, in addition to my role at Twitter, I'm also the head of Blackbirds, which is the Black Employee Resource Group at Twitter. And one thing that we've done, that we have coming up, which is really, really cool, in partnership with Spotify. So shout out to everybody at Spotify. Shout out to Spotify. Yeah, Tolu, the whole gang. Shout out to Blackbird. Shout out to Jay,
shout out to Blackbird.
Marvin, TJ, Stu.
Let's go.
Although I can just name them all, but it's just
all of them.
It's a great leadership team that we have over there. Kira, Kiki, Sayo, everybody on the West Coast. Tayo too. So we have a Spotify Blackbirds playlist that is launching. Champagne Talk.
Champagne Talk, baby.
Let's do it. So, in partnership with Spotify, we're launching an official Blackbirds Twitter playlist. This is the first time we're going to have an integrated playlist with Spotify. It'll be it'll be a partner's playlist, which will have the Spotify and the Twitter logo on the top right. So it's a big deal for us because as we celebrate Black music, as we celebrate Black History Month, this is a real way for us to kind of push that narrative forward. It's going to be called the Love to Hear It playlist. It's going to be curated by Twitter employees, Black Twitter employees. So definitely keep a lookout for that. We're definitely excited for that for sure.
Excellent. So, with regard to everything that you're doing right now, how do you find time to do it, man? Because, Jolie, I'll be frank with you. I met you last year.
Yeah.
We had a meeting.
Yeah, you came to Twitter.
It's you and me, our good buddy, my strategic advisor, Mo Canoe. Shout out to Mo.
Shout out to Mo.
Solid guy. Shout out to Sound. He provided us with all
these shout out to Sound.
Sparkling drinks right here.
Yeah, everybody.
All that good stuff. So we met there, also alongside my business partner, PJ Kev.
Shout out to Kev, man.
Shout out to Kev. One more time. You already know. PJ Kev approved.
Yeah.
But, so we met there, and it was one of those kinds of experiences where we got to familiarize ourselves with each other a bit more, but I didn't know that you had all this stuff going on. And the thing that was interesting is that when we met, it was like 7 p.m.
Yeah.
What are you doing in the office at 7, bro?
I remember. I remember, like, you guys were pulling up. I was like, man, I can't leave me at 7. And my day was kind of ending at that point. But yeah, man, you find the time, man. There's 24 hours in a day. And, like, you got to prioritize. Cheers. Champagne Talk. You got to prioritize, really, and sometimes I might not be able to get to certain text messages as fast as I want to.
How do you deal with that, brother? Because I know my friends and family hate me for that.
Oh, man.
Well, they don't hate me, but I mean, like, they're just like, oh my gosh.
It's funny, man. My mom calls me every single day.
Yeah, I love my mom, too.
My mom calls me every day. My aunt calls me every day, but I probably only pick up, let's say, probably 3-4 times a week. I can't pick up every day. Like, she'll call me at work, and I'm like, I just told you the other day I was working. So it's just finding the time, man. Like to your point, like yeah, families sometimes will get annoyed, but you just gotta keep the end goal.
What the
in
flick?
mind,
What the flick?
Oh!
What the flick?
Sorry, brother.
Yeah.
I know you heard that.
What was that?
What the flick? Okay, so this is a segment of our show where we highlight an infamous movie.
Excited for this one.
And, and guys, just so you understand, Jolie had no idea that this was going on. He had no idea that any of this was going on. I like to ensure that people are surprised. So, what the flick?
I like this.
We are going to highlight a specific scene from a movie. I need you to name that movie. Okay?
Okay.
And after you name that movie, we're going to dissect what exactly that means.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to give you a quote from a movie. I need you to name that movie, and then after that, we're going to dive a little bit deeper. A blank like me, I love the hustle. If you could sell it, I was all over it. Time elapses a little bit. Then, if a blank leaves the league, are the fans still gonna love me, man? Jolie!
Yo,
you're in the hot seat!
You know what's funny?
Let's go!
You know what's funny? You know what's funny, Aaron? Like, you definitely played that role just now so hard. It was great. Like, I felt I was watching the movie all over again.
Let's go.
Come on, man. Mekhi Phifer, paid in full, baby.
What was the name of the character?
Money Making Mitch.
See, I thought he was gonna say Mitch. He said Money Making Mitch.
Money Making Mitch. Come on, man. You know I know that.
I can definitely rate that. I can definitely rate that. So now I just want to go a little bit further. Right? I love the hustle.
Yeah.
If a blank like me could sell it,
Yeah.
I was on it. But if a blank leaves the league, are the fans still gonna love me? Now the reason why I want to go a little bit deeper is because I feel like that was our first glimpse. We all know the movie, we love the movie, we rate the movie, we think it's phenomenal. But have we ever understood what Mekhi Phifer was really saying, what Mitch was really saying? He was discussing social acceptance.
Man.
And the fact that he does what he does in order to remain relevant.
Yeah.
But social media has allowed us to remain relevant in a different capacity. So what are your thoughts?
Man, I have a lot of thoughts on that, to be honest. And it's something I actually kind of battle with. And I think, me, working at Twitter has definitely been amazing for sure. But I also have that entrepreneurial spirit in me. And, to that point, it's kind of like, will people still perceive you the same way once you decide to be an entrepreneur? I think one thing I respect from you, right, is that you've been able to kind of brand yourself in the entrepreneurial way, right? Like you've done your consulting, like you have a good brand, like you've been able to kind of push that narrative forward. So,
Thank you.
What I think about that specifically is, when we think about, like if you leave the league, will the fans still love you? It's like, eventually one day I'm not going to work at Twitter forever, right? I love it, but I definitely have entrepreneurial goals, right? So if I leave the tech industry, will I still be able to maneuver the same way? It's something you think about in your head, but I think for sure it's something you kind of also like just have to go out and do, But it's definitely something that you have to think about for sure.
Got it. So at this point, would you say that you're holding on to what you're doing currently because you know that allows you to have a lot of leverage with people because what you're doing is phenomenal, or do you feel that like at some point you're just going to be kind of beating a dead horse?
Yeah, no, great question.
It's being real.
Yeah, it's been. If I'm being completely honest, it's actually less of that. I don't think I'm staying in tech because it allows me to maneuver with certain people, but more so it allows me to learn. Like there's still things there's still a lot of things I need to learn. And we were talking about off record about the different digital media optimizations that you've been able to learn. It's more so like I need to be able to learn that, right? Like I need to be in an environment that teaches me certain things and teaches me how to negotiate on a large scale, right? Being able to meet with investors, right? Being able to articulate a brand narrative, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just learning different
Brand story is everything,
Yeah,
brother. And you know what's so funny?
Yeah.
Not to cut you off, brother. I want you to continue.
Yeah, for sure.
But a brand narrative is so important, but so many people lack that skill.
Yeah.
And the reason why they lack that skill is because they don't necessarily understand that if you don't have a personal story, there is no brand story. People want to know who the CEO is. People want to know who the founder is. People want to know who's running the ship, operationally and strategically.
Yeah.
And if you can't convey that effectively, then there's a missing link.
Yeah.
Right? At the end of the day, when you think about Bad Boy, who do you think of?
Puff.
Okay. When you think about Rock Nation, who do you think of?
Jay.
Okay, exactly.
Yeah.
Because they've been able to effectively tell a brand story and associate that with a personal brand.
Yeah.
Right? So, how do you feel you'll be able to do that moving forward? To be able to carve out a path of excellence for yourself in the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, I mean, that's it right there, right? I think everything I'm doing right now is kind of setting the stage.
Correct.
Right? And I think that's why, I'm looking in these next 5 to 10 years of what I'm doing, just trying to build and grow in my career, so that way, when I, eventually decide to go on a more entrepreneurial path, I'll have that kind of cachet where you'll be able to, hear my name, or you'll be able to have that recognition. So,
DQ!
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go!
Right now, it's just kind of like
Guys,
setting
I
the
get hyped.
stage.
I don't give a fuck.
So right now, it's just building the stage and building the platform for that, and just trying to do that. So
That's what's up, brother.
yeah,
That's
man.
what's up.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think, quite frankly, you guys have heard a ton of information from Djoli.
Yeah.
And if you'd like some additional information, there's going to be a consulting fee that comes with that. Right? You guys can hit me up.
We gotta talk, man. We gotta talk.
Djoli, quite frankly, we do have to talk.
We have to talk.
A lot deeper than this.
Yes, for sure. This
Real.
has been a great experience, but yeah, we have to talk.
Brother, I thank you for coming by.
No doubt.
This has been episode 1
Yeah.
of the Level Up podcast.
Level up.
Okay, Level Up, anti-social media. Take what you want from that title, but you need to listen to this.
Yeah, for sure.
Straight up and down. Djoli, appreciate you, brother. Thanks for coming
I
in.
appreciate you, man.
Everybody, look forward to episode 2. We'll be locking in with a lot of key information. Thank Djoli Quist for being here. Djoli, please hit them with your social media handles one time.
Oh yeah, you can find me on Instagram at DZQuist. That's DZQUIST. Same on Twitter. I don't have Snapchat, but yeah. LinkedIn, Djoli Quist. My first and last name. Reach out to me and let's connect.
Let's go, let's go. Everybody, I thank you for being a part of this with us, and it's just an amazing experience. We have a lot of exciting things on the horizon for you. A few exciting updates from myself and PJ Kev coming soon. Look out for us. Shout out to Kev one more time. PJ Kev approved.
Shout out to Kev, man.
Shout out to Wilson Talent Solutions, my consulting firm. And shout out to everybody who's doing this. Shout out to my godbrother, Adonis, videographer. Let's go. Shout out to my editor, Alphonse. Let's go. And shout out to our executive producer and creative director, Christopher Martin. Let's go. One time. Shout out to Megan. Holla at you.